Yo, what is good, my fellow deadheads? Your overlord has returned with yet another JJK Phantom Parade video. Today we are back to finally finish our series talking about all of the categories that are currently in JJK. Or, there's not categories, but I mean, if you look at the characters and you look at the thing that says attribute on them, quite literally they're in categories. So we're going to go ahead and just talk about the last category, which I'm calling non-Jujutsu sorcerers, right? That is for anybody who is like a curse, basically a curse or a curse user, anybody not affiliated with the school, but they still do have techniques and they use their techniques for nefarious deeds. So characters like Kenjaku, Sukuna, you know, the disaster curses, any characters of that nature. But before we talk about how cracked this category is, if you guys go down below and just leave that like on me for me giving these free ideas and everything to Billy, man, I'm gonna keep throwing these ideas out there so they can pick them up and actually work on this stuff, and maybe one day they can redeem themselves. But basically, you guys can go down below and hit a like on the video. You can also subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time the dead man unlocks the 6 lives and decides to glide. And then you can also go down below and comment and let me know what you want to know, and I'll let that Murasaki go. But that's gonna be it. Let's get into it. So guys, like we said, this category is going to be the non-Jujutsu sorcerer category. So quite literally, everything from Jujutsu high personnel and above is just not a part of this. It is just curse spirit, curse user, sorcerer, killer, and fully fleshed curse. So cursed spirits are quite literally just these three, and then Dagon getting added in. I will go ahead and say that all of these characters are formidable in their own right, except for Dagon. But the only issue is that I think all these characters are kind of like counterproductive to each other, because his domain is for damage, her domain is for team preservation. This domain is for damage, but like not in a big damage kind of way, in a we worked you down, like last moment, you know, touch instant kill type of shit, right? You want to set him up, whereas Jogo would probably be more of a unit you're using for set up, right? And then Dagon is just ass. But the thing that makes them all too clunky to run together on a team by themselves is the fact that they all have a domain and all of their domains cancel each other, which is cool when you're, you know, doing specific characters who domains you want to keep closing each other out on and keep rushing domains, like, you know, it's Mahito and Hanami, because you use Mahito's domain to hit the enemy with the initial 15% HP related or HP based damage, then you use Hanami's domain right after to close Mahito's domain so Mahito can start charging cursed energy again, and then while you're in Hanami's domain, you were stacking cursed energy. But are you trying to switch off of Hanami's domain to Jogo's domain just to deal damage and then get hit harder by the enemies? And then are you also trying to go into Dagon's domain to negate all of these effects, right? It's just like domains just clashing with each other is gonna be a bit of an issue. Now, Sukuna is a bit outside of that, wrong category. Sukuna is a bit outside of that just because his domain is, you know, an instant. So you can put Sukuna in the front line and literally just bust that domain out first and foremost, and it'll go away, and everybody else's domains will still go pop off however you want to. So you could do something like Sukuna, then Mahito, then Hanami. Mahito and Hanami have to be the ones in the back, basically, is what I'm saying, right? But it's like a very specific way that you have to do it. So as of right now, the curses can't just be cycled around on the team however which way they want to. You have to be a little more careful and think about it a little bit more how you're going to line them up together. But Sukuna, obviously an incredible damage dealer, still one of the greatest units in the game, if not, you know, the greatest damage dealer. Who would be better than him? I don't know. But his damage is just so formidable because he can keep stacking laceration. His lacerations continually get extra damage for every other stack of laceration that was there prior. Man, it's just an absolute ghoul, an absolute menace, and he's probably going to be relevant for a while, as he's definitely going to be the top blue DPSer at the very least for a while. And not to mention, we have things like the SP buff in the game. Sukuna does not need an SP buff right now, but when he does get an SP buff, oh my gosh, bro is going to be absolutely disgusting. I think the thing that would make him, one of the things that would make him most busted, I mean, you can change his passive and everything. They're probably going to give him more healing on his shit, but I would like to see his domain do more damage and give an extra stack of laceration. Actually, I know that sounds insane. And then I would also like to see this skill give 2 stacks of laceration instead of 1 laceration for 3 turns. I just like to stack laceration faster. I don't know, man. I just love stacking that shit as much as possible, and that's his whole bread and butter is laceration, or bleed. Basically, it's just bleed, and then you're just like, all right, bro, I'm gonna drop you with the big bleeder, and then we're gonna see how you're looking afterwards. And afterwards, bro, the DLT is just gonna scrape your ass away, right? But then we got Toji over here as well, who is actually a really good dark horse, you know, type of unit, because one of his skills quite literally just removes buffs, and you can continually just whittle away at the boss, you know. And I also say all the time I say this, I'm pretty sure that taijutsu characters just last longer in the game. They just hit harder in the game, I'm pretty sure. Because if you look at JJK, most of the characters who were formidable had crazy curse techniques, but some of the characters who were absolutely devious had heavenly restrictions, or, you know, were just super strong in the case of Yuji, right? It just feels like since they're not as common, physical damage characters actually do just last a lot longer. It's so odd. And it's like, you always need them. Every time there's a big drop of content, it feels like always there's somewhere where cursed energy users are just a little behind the curve, because they literally say like, okay, cursed energy based attacks or range based attacks just are weaker, right? You need somebody close range, you need somebody melee, you need to do a black flash, you need to do this, right? That's when these characters come in, and Toji can't do black flashes, but that's when these kind of characters come in. These physical damage characters who are able to rip buffs off of enemies and even break some of that critical defense down and just start getting really big numbers, because as he's breaking that crit defense down, other units are also going to start to get more crits, and they're also going to be doing more damage too. So though Toji is not a support and by any means, he is still definitely kind of cracked, right? And also, you already see the attribute overview screen is already nice and neat, and it already scrolls and everything, so you can already tell they're going to start adding more categories to this, just so you can see all the different classifications that characters are going to be in. It's like JJK Phantom Parade has this very like funny way of putting stuff into the game. Like, they're not good at hiding things. They put stuff into the game because they're like, all right, bro, we don't feel like adding this in later. Let's go ahead and throw this in now. And I'm just like, if you wanted to hide the fact, right, that you were going to add categories, all you would have to do is be like, instead of putting attribute overview in general, because why do I need an entire overview when you can literally just put Cursed Spirit right here, right? But instead I click attribute overview, it says Cursed Spirit, and it has all this extra space under it. Like, what's supposed to be under here? You know what I'm saying? Kenjaku's party or something like that, just something stupid. I'm not even going to get into all the categories that they could add into the game, but yes, the non-Jujutsu Sorcerer category is absolutely diabolical. Let's see, I looked at Fully Fleshed Curse, I looked at Sorcerer Killer, I looked at Curse Spirit. We're just missing Curse User, and I mean, like, come on, bro. Gato is still a good unit. Miguel is kind of like meme tier, but he has buff strip, I'm pretty sure. And guys, Miguel was not a unit that you should have summoned for, so don't feel bad. Don't feel like, oh no, the dead man has Miguel, I don't have Miguel, my fuck. No, you're not beat. Miguel was just quite literally a lucky summon, because I was trying to get that Yuta recollection bit, and I got him and the recollection bit in my first multi. But Gato is going to be a solid, you know, debuffer for this category. Sukuna, crazy DPS, you know. You have extra DPS here in Mahito and Jogo. If you need to stall and you need to get the damage reduction, you got Hanami here, able to help clean up in that regard. You got another character right here. But now that I'm saying all this out loud, you know what this category is missing? Buffers. We are missing buffers. I don't know exactly how they're going to implement buffers into this. Oh, also, another character who's going to be added to this classification of characters is going to be Chozo. I don't know what his attribute is just yet though, but I guess I could go into the game on the JP version, look at him and literally hold down his attribute, but I'm gonna take a wild guess. He's probably just gonna be in the Cursed Spirit, because these guys are naturally persisting cursed, and Chozo is a cursed wound painting, so he is a product of a human and a Cursed Spirit. Maybe he'd be in this category with Sukuna, because Sukuna literally is just a human who became so strong he turned himself into the King of Curses, right? So, or the strongest sorcerer alive, and then he turns into a curse himself, Dastardly, right? Because people just feared him, right? So Chozo would probably be in this category just because he is a curse, but he is a fully fleshed curse. He was born. He was literally born. So yes, but what else? Yeah, literally this category is just missing buffers. Again, don't know what they're really gonna do for adding buffers in here, but when you start talking about categories, there are a lot of different extra avenues that they can go about to make certain units work together, right? And obviously these older characters aren't going to have any passives added to them that say anything along the lines of, now we could actually see something in the future where for SP buffs they finally evolve it to where they're adding on extra passive skills that say, oh, whenever on a team with characters from this category, then this extra effect happens or something like that, right? That could be another avenue that they take with SP buff, because as of right now, we see that they either do buffing both of the skills, buffing a skill and a passive, or buffing two passives. So we could see them start to add other new avenues to it, but we have no idea just yet because it is very basic right now and categories are still kind of like vaguely on the table right now. But I do feel like the way that they have the character screen set up, they are definitely planning to add in more categories here, right? right? But guys, that's gonna be it for today's videos. I don't like to hold you hostage here for too long. I'd give this category a 3 out of 5 actually. The non-main branch students got a 4 out of 5 because like at least they have buffers. This game, buffers are everything in this game, bro. But like this category is all DPS, even some debuffers here, but like no buffers, and that's really going to show. Bonus applying 10 days left. Oh, because of my celestial pass. But yes, literally no buffers here is going to show because like yes, these characters can be really good big damage, but I don't care how much big damage you are, you always need extra support to give that damage the extra little edge that it needs against these bosses, because these bosses are only getting harder and harder. And man, tower is just so dreadful. Just wait and see what it looks like when we get tower floors up to 100, and just wait until we get hard tower floors, which we'll probably definitely see in the future. But guys, if you did enjoy this video this time for realsies, you can go down below, you can hit the like button, you can hit subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time the dead man hits his 6 eyes and hits that infinite glide. You can go down below and comment down below and let me know what you want to know when I let that Murasaki go. But that's gonna be it for you, boy, DEADMANVINCE. If you guys want to check out some more videos, stay right here on this screen and click one of the options hovering over my face, I think. But you guys have an excellent day. The dead man is gonna go sign out. Peace.